Now we have another fun segment on our virtual set with Sarah Cox. Sarah, take it away.
Thank you, Sam. If you haven't seen this before, this is a little segment that we like to call the final verdict. How it works is quite simple. We get an industry expert. They're going to stake their claim to how they feel about certain topics, and I am going to be the judge, and we will decide what we think about that. So I'm super excited about this one because I'm welcoming a friend and industry colleague, Laura Frank, who is the Executive Director of Framework, author, just general all-round legend. Laura, welcome.
Happy to be here, Sarah.
So let's do this. We're going to talk about, your subject matter is digital rendering and control strategies. So, do you need to render all the pixels that a screen can display?
No.
Okay.
One more?
Okay.
Okay. So I would think about it like this. Render the right amount of pixels for the environment you're in. So that's a number of factors to consider. What is your engineering pipeline? How many pixels can you support successfully? How many pixels rendered can you deliver across your hard drive system to play it back? What's your playback pipeline look like? Your content production pipeline look like? Ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to support the team operating all those pixels and deliver to the audience the number of pixels they need to see beautiful content. The screen resolutions in audience-based screen production often exceed what the human eye can see. So I would take advantage of that, manipulate the numbers, deliver the pixels you need, which is usually sometimes half of what a screen can output. So do your math, people.
Well, I mean, I'm a bit biased on this because I think absolutely 100% what you said. So that's it. That's a yes for this one. All right, that's easy.
We agree. Yeah.
That one's easy.
Okay.
This one's more challenging. Okay. So how do you choose between real-time generated pipeline and a rendered content pipeline?
It's a tough question to answer because I think the rich and interesting problems are around generated content, real-time generated content, but ultimately it goes back to the audience. Will the audience know? That's the first question you need to answer. Is the real-time input impactful enough to make a difference? And I would argue there are probably solutions where if you can't support that generated content pipeline, you can instead manipulate your show control to be real-time. And I think there's some really clever ways to do like 2.5D real-time, let's call it, where you're not generating all of it, but maybe you're generating queue events that simulate the impact of real-time generated. So again, maybe, but look at your rendered solution and show control solutions first before you commit to real-time generated content, because it is an engineering support process that is far more complicated.
Not to be taken lightheartedly on that pathway.
Absolutely.
Again, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to accept that.
2 for 2?
A 2 for 2
Okay.
so far. Yeah, absolutely. This one, we'll see. So when you're planning your show control, do you think of time as a stack of events, a linear timeline, or a calendar grid?
This, I think, opens up the most interesting part of show control looking to the future because, again, audience dependent, environment dependent. I think it's all those things. I come from lighting programming. Queue structure, show control is a stack of events. Sometimes they're randomized, but I think of them in stacks. I've had to adapt to linear timelines and calendar-based grid timelines as I move across different entertainment and screen-based installations to understand the benefits to all those things. But I think those ways of thinking about time are about to blow up and become logic-based.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the opportunities are really rich because you need the benefits of all those methods of thinking about time, and you need to start thinking, I would say, more like a software developer developing for the web, and where everything's randomized and you have to respond to the events and show control being real time. But we're going to talk about this a bit more with Framework tomorrow morning at the live event stage, so I encourage everyone to check that out. We'll be talking about time.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I hope I can make it to come over and see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to accept that as well. I knew this was going to happen though, because you and I largely always align, and you're as a mentor, and I always listen to what you say. So I've learned not to go against that.
I like a good challenge. Come on.
It served me well. So we're just going to wrap up now by asking you a little bit of a personal question. What is your best pop star experience?
I would have to say it involves David Bowie and his stocking feet on his tour bus talking about European cinema. I cannot top that, unless maybe you can.
Well, I probably can actually. I did leave Celine Dion hanging in a high five. Yeah, so we both got
Brutal.
some pretty epic
You
stories
still have
there.
time to make up for that. I sadly do not. No more bus chats with Mr. Bowie.
No.
No.
Thank you so much, Laura. As
Thank you,
always,
Sarah.
fascinating, not enough time. But do go check out Framework if you're around during the next couple of days on those panels.
Yes, please do.
Thank you, Laura.